Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be all about what I wish I knew before I started IVF. Just a little bit of a background. I did do 2 IUIs and I did 1 IVF, and my first IVF was a success, and I'm currently 26 weeks pregnant. So I just want to kind of let you guys know what to expect if you are going through the same journey. So let's start off with number 1. So what I wish I knew is the timing needed for the shots and appointments. I feel like I was so lucky to have such a flexible job. I mean, I still am. I am a freelance makeup artist. So I mostly work weekends and then I have trials throughout the week, but I'm able to change things around for trials. Not necessarily for weddings, but they are earlier. So super important to be flexible, I feel. It's great that the IVF place I went to started super early in the morning, like at 6 o'clock in the morning. But again, you go through the appointments a lot. I remember taking my blood work like twice a week. The injections I had to do every day, and the timing of injections was important. There was one that I had to take between 6 to 8 within the hour every day, and those were 3 injections. There was another injection that needed to be refrigerated, so if my husband went to hockey, I went to hockey with him, and I put that injection into a cooler to keep it cool, and he had to do it. I personally am terrified of shots, so I could never put a needle in myself, so that is why my husband did all of them for me. You are able to do a majority of the injections yourself, so that's totally fine if you can do it. I just couldn't bear to do it, so that was not gonna happen. And then there was this one specific shot that I needed to take at a certain time, and I think it was at 12 a.m. in the morning. And this really depends on your cycle and how things are going. The nurses will tell you when to do it, but like you need to be like ready to go and do it at that specific time. So yeah, you kind of become a slave to these injections and appointments, but I'm telling you, at the end, it's definitely worth it. So here's number 2. The amount of injections. I honestly, when I first went into this and I went into the class with the nurse and they were teaching us how to do the shots and everything, how to change the needle, how to get everything ready, in what order to do it, I had no idea that I would be doing 3 shots a day for a little bit over a month. And then they just continued. Even though it wasn't 3 a day, I did have 1 a day, and I thought that was the most painful one because it went into your butt muscle and your butt became super sore. One of them, the one from the 3 a day, one of them seriously burned. Like, it was like this itchy burning sensation, and I hated it so much. But, you know, some people say like, oh, you know, you get used to it. But sometimes you just never get used to shots, and I'm still not used to them. And I hate getting my blood work done. And you just do what you have to do, honestly. So the amount of injections is a lot. It doesn't stop for a while because you're growing your eggs and everything like that. But again, it does come to an end, so just look at the end results. Number 3 is mood swings. Because you are adding all these hormones and all these things, and just mentally it's draining and everything like that, you are like a mood swing roller coaster, okay? I feel like there were days where I was super happy and positive, and then there were days where I was just super let down, and it was worse on days where like I found out my friends were pregnant and I was like, oh my god, nobody knows I'm going through this. So again, as much as it is hard to stay positive, try to have an open mind to it and just really look at the end result. It's not your fault that your mood swings are kind of up and down. It's just all the hormones that you're putting into your body. Number 4, So I wish before I started, I actually had a moment where we weren't gonna go through it because we didn't know if our insurance was going to cover it. Here in the US, IVF does cost, I think, about $15,000, almost $16,000 without insurance covering anything. We were lucky enough to have the procedure and everything covered, but our medication was not covered, so we did have to pay a couple of thousands of dollars out of pocket. So that's just something to prepare for. When I found this out, I actually was super discouraged. We didn't know if we were going to go through it with it, but I also felt like it's now or never. So thank God we had some savings and things like that, and we just used it for the meds, but it's a lot. Unless you have some really super great insurance, which apparently I'm supposed to have some great insurance, mine just didn't cover it, and that's that. So number 5 is IVF could totally be mentally draining for you and your partner. Again, you're like on a roller coaster. You have your ups and downs. You are affecting your partner's mental health, I feel. Try to really just talk about your feelings. Be open about it with your partner. They don't know how you are feeling. If you don't open up to your partner about it, I feel like, you know, they'll never understand how you are feeling. And if you don't want to just open up to your partner, open up to your best friend, your sister, your mom, or whoever. I personally didn't open up to my mom because I feel like I was overwhelmed by people asking me, like, how's it going? What's going on? How was the doctor's appointment? Did this happen? What did the doctor say? I was just like, oh my God, like, I don't want to talk about it. It was easier for me to talk about it with somebody who went through it, but I didn't really know people who went through it. So I kind of closed up inside. My sister did know, and my best friend, but you know, they weren't there to judge. They were just there to listen. It wasn't like bombarding with like questions if I didn't want to talk about it. They didn't call me after every doctor's appointment like my mom did. There were just days I did not want to talk about it. So if you can find somebody who went through it and share with them, I think it will be a lot easier for you as well, just going through it, knowing what to expect, and just to vent sometimes. Number 6. So the thing that you can expect during IVF is hyperstimulation. So I ended up being hyperstimulated, which just means your ovaries become enlarged, and just overall you will feel very bloated during this whole thing. Because I was hyperstimulated, it meant that I couldn't do my transfer right away, and it also meant that I had to go on like this Gatorade V8 diet and drink a lot of it through I think a week or two, and I just got sick of Gatorade and V8, but I had to do what I had to do. It was just recommended by the doctor to help the ovaries go down, and it's something that you can expect. It doesn't happen to everyone, but because I was so young when I did IVF, I am 27 now, so I think I started at 26, yes, correct? I think so. They knew I was going to grow a lot of eggs, and because I grew so many eggs, it's one of the reasons why I became hyperstimulated. So it doesn't happen to everyone, but it can happen to you, and it's just something to be aware of. Number 7 is, how long does IVF actually take? I didn't know that it would take so long. I expected it to be like a month or two. But for us, it took a little bit longer. I think it was like 2.5 months, just because of the hyperstimulation that I mentioned before. The reason why is they can't do the transfer right away. So usually after your eggs are retrieved, they can do a transfer, like I think it's 2 days after. Don't quote me on that. But I had to wait a whole nother month technically, because I was going to do a frozen transfer. Some people say a frozen transfer has higher success rate. I don't know what holds true to that because I did some research. It's not like 100% thing, but maybe that helped me. I'm not entirely sure, but I was really let down when I found out that I had to wait even longer. But I was like, you know what, maybe it's just meant to happen this way, and guess what? it was. So can't complain now. Looking back on it, it was just a blessing. So for number 8, I wish I knew how many women actually go through IVF. I think for me, it was like super mind-blowing walking into this doctor's office, weekly or sometimes twice a week, and realizing how many women actually have issues when it comes to conceiving naturally. I don't think that people should be afraid to talk about it. There's so many women from like different ages too. I saw young girls, I saw older women. To me, it was just mind-blowing. I personally didn't think that at my age something like this would ever happen. I was never on birth control, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be easy to get pregnant. I never put hormones in my body or whatever it may be. I normally eat healthy. If you guys follow me on Instagram and things like that, I try to eat healthy. I'm like a big meal prepper if you guys have watched my other videos and things like that. But I never thought that I would be going through something like this. And to be honest, I don't think you should be afraid to talk about it. There is nothing wrong with doing IUIs, with going to check yourself to see if your cycle is okay, if you're ovulating correctly, if your fallopian tubes are clean. If you go through IVF once, twice, 3 times, if you're, trying to conceive for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, I mean, bless your soul. But it's so normal nowadays, and I don't know what it is. Is it the things we eat, or like how our society is, or I have no idea. But it was just crazy to see how many women actually go through it. And I think that women shouldn't be afraid to talk about it. That's why I'm talking about it openly. I feel like it can help other women out there. I did have some messages from you guys. I even had somebody actually go to the same place as me, and to her it was just great to know that, somebody from there had a success story. So it just gives you lots of hope. So that's really it for all the things that I wish I knew before IVF. It is a long, long journey. Let me tell you, it's like a roller coaster ride. But if I can do it, you can do it. I give lots of credit to women who go through it. It makes you strong and powerful, and I really wish that everyone out there trying, I really hope that your little miracle happens someday too. God, so emotional. Gosh, why am I like this? Do I look like I was crying? Yeah, it does. Okay, tea break. If anyone out there is going through this as well and you just want to talk, if you want to vent, if you have any questions for me, obviously I'm not a doctor, I could just tell you my experience. Please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. You guys can reach out to me on my Instagram. That's probably the easiest. I hate checking emails, so emails are like, ugh, to me. I do enough emails for makeup business, so it's just kind of draining sometimes. So feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my Instagram right here, and I'll also put down the links below. I really wish you guys all the best of luck. Again, stay strong, be positive. You're already killing it as a mom. Even just for doing this, going through it, I mean, it's just, I give so much credit to moms out there who have done this before and who do it over and over again. I can't imagine doing it over again, but honestly, I would, just to have a little miracle growing inside of me, and I'm so happy to be having one right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something throughout this video. These are just the things I wish I knew before I started IVF, so maybe you'll help someone out there too. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Bye.